idea how many electro rays are traveling through our head every second?
I got a better one. Have you heard about this videotape that kills you when you watch it?
What kind of tape?
A tape. A regular tape. People run it, I don't know. We start to play it, and it's like somebody's nightmare. Then suddenly, this woman comes on, smiling at you, right? Seeing you through the screen. And as soon as it's over, your phone rings. Someone knows you've watched it. And what they say is, you will die in 7 days.
Scary stories have been around for generations, with some dating back to prehistoric times, stories that were to keep you safe from the monsters outside the cave, to the mass-market Stephen King paperbacks littering discount bins in airport bookstores all over the world. In our new age of technology, and with our ever-growing access to the internet, a new contender enters the horror ring: the creepypasta. The term creepypasta is defined by this scholar as an immersive and user-generated, often paranormal, internet horror story that relies on the suspension of disbelief by the reader and the believable authenticity of the author. The term creepypasta is rumored to have been coined in early 2006 on a message board that focused on the paranormal. It is a play on the term copypasta, which means and is used to describe messages that are spread through directly copying and pasting blocks of text.
When you're a kid, you think the universe revolves around you. You think that you'll always be protected and cared for. Then, one day, you realize that's not true.
Creepypastas have changed the horror genre, and we see this when we compare more traditional horror to a creepypasta. The modern take is less an established legend and more immersive, mutable, and an ongoing story. It is not solid text, but a growing entity. Technology has changed horror in some very sophisticated ways, with stories continuously popping up on sites like creepypasta.com and the No Sleep subreddit page. Horror content is more readily available to a casual audience. Where once horror fans carried around their favorite books, sharing them with friends over coffee, those books have been adapted to short stories on shareable websites, accessible from anywhere, making it easier to stumble upon and read. The genre has gone from something we are being told to something that we feel as if we are participating in. David Cummings of the No Sleep podcast said it best when he said, "A lot of these stories are really well crafted and well told, but they're not necessarily literary. You don't get the grandiose descriptions. They're breathless. Oh my God, I just ran out of my friend's house and I have to tell you what happened." There's an immediacy and a believability. I would also add the element of intimacy to his description. Anyone is willing to perk up their ears when we hear someone telling a story about themselves because we feel and crave that human connection. Stories like creepypastas differ from the traditional in the sense that with novels you can close the cover, put the book down, put it out of your sight, out of your mind. But with a creepypasta, even lurkers find themselves as participants. In conclusion, creepypastas are reforming the horror genre. From how we read them to how we adapt them into films, they are trailblazing a new way for horror. They've opened up new avenues for consumers to explore and find their place in. They've created an impact that can't be ignored. The genre needed the reform. Stephen King can only write the same story so many times before people get bored and the genre becomes stale. Creepypastas introduce a new intimacy and writing style that the current generation of readers is willing to engage with. Adolescents and young adults are more actively engaged in what used to be a very niche genre. Horror needed to grow in order to survive, and creepypastas are its newest victim.